got my own set, guys. As you can see, I'm not Brian. I'm Colby of 113. As all of you should know. Got my own set. Pretty excited about this. I hope this actually works. We'll see. But quickly, I am not Brian, but quick shout out, happy birthday, Brian. Assuming this goes out on your birthday. It is being recorded on your birthday, so hopefully I get around to actually editing this and getting it out tonight. If not, well, we'll go over it. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the reason I'm here. You have Brian that gives you the predictions, me, I go right to the reviews. That's my job. And trust me, I'm very negative. And so we'll see how it goes. But basically, just last night was TLC, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. WWE's final pay-per-view of the year. It was a good show. I'm not going to lie, it was a good show. There were some bad parts, there were some good parts. I'll try to break it down as a journalistic view, as you might say. And then I'll give you my personal fan point of view. We'll go over whether or not Brian got the picks right or not, hopefully, as long as I remember to edit that in right. And yeah, we'll do all that. Just a quick side note, I did watch Final Battle Friday night, so might be a little more negative on this show than your typical WWE reviewer, but we gotta try, so we'll see how this goes. We have the WWE pre-show, which thank God was only an hour this time. There were two matches on the pre-show. First of all was our Cruiserweight title match with the champ Buddy Murphy against the challenger and former champion Cedric Alexander. In itself was a very good match. It's amazing how far Buddy Murphy's come. Beginning of the year, a lot of people didn't even think he was going to be on the roster. And here it is, end of the year, he's Cruiserweight champion, and yeah, he did win. So, Buddy Murphy defeats Cedric. Should I do a rating? You know what? We'll keep it simple. Thumbs up. Next match on the pre-show was Elias versus Bobby, my man, Lashley. Look, I love Elias. I think we all love Elias. If you don't love Elias, you don't know what you're talking about. Elias, he's not a bad wrestler, but he is not a great wrestler by any means, and unfortunately, Bobby Lashley, I feel like, has been phoning it in for a while now. And I can't really blame him. He's nowhere near the spot that he could have been when he came in. It was a guitar ladder match, which everybody thought meant climbing the ladder, grabbing the guitar, using it as a weapon, and then winning by pin or submission. But no, it was your typical ladder match stipulation of whoever reaches up and grabs the guitar first wins, which ended up being Elias. Elias won. It's a quick match, only went about 6 minutes. However, Bobby Lashley got the heat back after the match. Thanks to the distraction from Leo, he stole the guitar, hit Elias with it, and they walked out. I mean, it was your average, it felt like a typical match you'd see on Raw, honestly. It didn't feel like much of a pay-per-view match, so it was probably good it was on the pre-show. Personally, give it a down. I'm glad Elias won from a fan's perspective, but I give it a down more so because I feel like this feud's not over, and that's not a good thing. My girl Becky Lynch, aka The Man, who personally autographed this belt for me. Very happy about that. She did a quick interview in the pre-show, basically saying, hey, it's a dual-branded show, and maybe I'll dole out a few receipts. And Becky's going to stick with me for a little while from this review until she gets angry, which usually doesn't take long, as we all know about The Man. Opening match of the show, mixed match challenge finals. Alicia Fox and Jinder Mahal with the same brothers, taking on Fabulous Truth, Carmella, and R-Truth. This wasn't a bad match. Typical mixed match challenge match. Crowd was really into it, which helped. Nothing special. Went about 10 to 12 minutes. Finish came pretty quick when Carmella got her submission, the Code of Silence on. And Alicia tapped almost immediately. After the match, R-Truth says that he already submitted their bid for their vacation and that they were going to Stamford, Connecticut. So, thanks for a waste of 3 months. Side note, both of them are number 30 now in the Rumbles. I don't think R-Truth's going to be number 30. I think he's going to think he's number 30 in the Women's Rumble and try to come out with Carmella, only to be really angry and disappointed. So that's my own personal belief of where that storyline's going. Match-wise, give it a thumbs in the middle. Wasn't my cup of tea. Crowd was into it, though. And it wasn't a bad match for these four. So, not a bad match, not a great match. We'll put it right in the middle. The Bar. They were up next in a three-way tag match with the New Day and the Usos. Match started out slow. About the time that the Usos started delivering super kicks to everybody is when it started to pick up. Turned out to be a pretty good match. Again, about 12, 13 minutes long. It was a really good match for WWE standards. I put it about diagonal thumbs up. Again, I prefaced this video by saying I watched Final Battle on Friday night, where the main event was a triple threat tag match, ladder match, with the Young Bucks, the Briscoes, and SCU.
Is the worst
video
I've ever been in.
And that was a fantastic match.
Never look back, no, never say die. Always attack with the warrior cry. Never look back, no, never retreat. Never look back, never say defeat.
Anybody that wants to see a car crash with just total awesome spots, go watch that match. In comparison, I felt like this match should have probably had a gimmick, whether it was a ladder match or TLC or whatever. Still a good match. These are the three best tag teams in WWE right now, easily. And you don't really expect anything less. But again, not my cup of tea, but not bad. We'll put it diagonal up. Alright, so the next match gets both a thumbs up and a thumbs down. The reason why is Baron Corbin versus Braun Strowman. The thumbs down, simply one reason. There's no point in this being a TLC match. Like, total waste of a stipulation. But overall, the booking of this was a-okay, thumbs up. I really enjoyed how they did it. It was clear Braun wasn't 100% ready to return yet, but they still needed to have him win to set up the match with Brock and also get Corbin out of power. I enjoyed the fact that they had everyone Baron has screwed over in the last couple of months, including Heath. Basically take him out and help Braun win the match. So that part of it I enjoyed. Heath Slater was the ref. He got up to a count out of about 8, and then Braun shows up, says there's no DQs in this match. That's my Braun. At first, when only Apollo was shown, I was starting to crack up because I was like, I knew where it was going. I knew all the other people were probably going to show up. But how amazing would it have been if Braun Strowman says, more or less, I'm going to have somebody else fight my battles, and all it is Apollo Crews with a chair. So, good match. Well, not a good match. It was not a good match. Good booking. Poor decision to have it as a TLC match. They could have made it a stairs match. That would have made more sense. And I remember a few years ago when they renamed the pay-per-view tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs, or some bullcrap like that. They could have done that again. I should point out, at this point, Brian so far is undefeated with his picks. Stops now. I'm done. Done letting this guy be undefeated. You know why? Because next up was the tables match between Ruby Riott and Natalya. What to say about this match? By no means was it a bad match. People that know me know I'm very not much of an Natalya fan. I think because I watched part of Total Divas, it kind of gave me more of a disdain for her than had I not watched it. And I just always felt she was very whiny, and that show portrayed her pretty horribly, right, Becky? Right. That's why you're never going to be on that show. Please, dear God, never be on that show. Ironically enough, Liv Morgan had the best spot in the match. That table spot where she went through that, oh my God. Liv may be the toughest female on the roster, hands down. No offense. you are extremely tough as well. Natalya eliminates the Riot Squad and then pulls out a table with Ruby on it, like her actual picture on it, kind of like the Jim Neidhart table. Puts on Jim Neidhart's jacket and glasses and all that crap. I guess she got the glasses repaired since they got broken in England or some BS. I don't know. Maybe he had more than one pair. Who knows? And powerbombs her through a table. Wins the match. Nothing spectacular. Crowd didn't care. I didn't care. Again, I think Ruby, I think she's very underrated as a performer. I think Natalya's very overrated as a performer. So, we'll go thumbs slightly down. Because again, it was not the worst match on the card. It's not a bad match at all. Next up, we had Drew McIntyre versus Finn Balor. This is another one that Mr. Bryan got wrong. Drew basically dominated from the start. Finn, babyface comeback. Both guys down. Drew's on the outside. Dolph attacks him. Drew attacks him back. Comes in with the chair. But Finn drop kicks the chair into him. Hits the coup de grace. Scores the pin. Finn upsets Drew McIntyre. I was pretty happy with that. Like, either guy winning was good. It's really weird how much they protected McIntyre, and now he's taken 2 losses in the last 2 weeks. One to Dolph and one to Finn. I'll put it in the middle because, again, it felt like a Raw match, honestly. And compared to a lot of the other matches on this card, it wasn't my favorite. Next up was Mysterio versus Orton in the chairs match. Went about 11 and a half minutes. Ray ended up winning. I was not a big fan of the match, mainly because I feel like I've seen it so many times. But after rewatching it and talking with a lot of people, I can see why people enjoyed it. There were a lot of unique spots with chairs. So, I mean, that gave it an added bonus. Ray's little slide move to the outside on the chair onto Orton was pretty cool. They did good. We'll say kind of up, maybe in the middle. Because, again, I'm not a big fan of either one of these guys. It's Randy.
My book report is on the giving tree. Randy!
Following this match, we saw a backstage segment where Finn was interviewed about his victory. He says that he's happy he was able to beat Drew, but angry that Dolph got involved. Dolph says he should be thanking him, and then attacks Finn for not being appreciative. Next up was the Raw Women's title match between the champion, Ronda Rousey, and hashtag Facebreaker, Nia Jax. Fuck that bitch. Yeah, Becky doesn't like that word. I'm sorry, did you say you need to use the Jax? I might have to too. That match went about 10, 11 minutes. I'm not a fan of either one of these two. I'll just straight from a wrestling fan's perspective, I hate both of them. It's because I love this woman so much. So very, very much. But from a journalistic standpoint, this was not a bad match. Slightly down, I guess. Middle. Journalistic, it's middle of the road. I mean, it was not bad at all. Ronda has the ability to carry Nia to good matches. Very strange to say that about someone who's only been doing this for a few months, but it's true. Ronda can pull a good match out on Nia. Nia is so green and so terrible with anybody else. So, yeah, we'll leave it at that. As Nia's walking backstage and crying because she lost, Becky here walks up to her and basically says, do you remember when you broke my face? And pow. Wow, that actually kind of hurt. Maybe I'm the face breaker. I'm the palm breaker. And basically says, keep your name out of my mouth, and walks off. Another reason why the man is so awesome. Why we all love her. She's just the greatest. WWE Championship. WWE Champion Daniel Bryan taking on former WWE Champion of 371 days, AJ Styles. Match went about 25 minutes. One of the longer matches on the show. Pretty good match. These two, they know each other very well at this point, so I'm not going to go too much into it. Lots of counters, lots of back and forths. I was a little surprised with the ending. Bryan cleanly pinned AJ from the looks of it. AJ rolled Bryan into a small package. Bryan flipped it over and won with a 3 count. So, seems like Daniel Bryan's going to be moving on to somebody else for this thing, and probably a different belt as well. we'll give it a thumbs up. It was probably one of the better matches on the card. Give it a thumbs up. Next match, Intercontinental title. Seth Rollins defends against his bitter rival, Dean Ambrose. Decent match, I thought. I thought it was well done. However, crowd definitely suffering from fatigue at this point. A little over 4 hours of sitting there. They were not having this match. It was clear the crowd was ready for the main event at this point. Rollins and Ambrose got 23 minutes. I love the guys, but I got to give it a middle of the road. The crowd just was out of it. The commentary kind of took things away. Almost took focus off the match with how much Corey and Renee were going back and forth. Granted, I thought parts of it were funny, but most people, from what I read on Twitter and online, they have no part of it. So I could probably see why. Honestly, that match should not have been in that death spot. That's the pee break. It should have been earlier in the show. That should have been when I think where the Elias match was, or maybe even the Finn and Drew match. Side note, Dean Ambrose wins the match, becomes your new Intercontinental Champion. So there's that. Finally, we have the SmackDown Women's Title TLC match. Let's go ahead and get a close-up of that Becky autograph on there, because why not? It's the man, Becky Lynch, who walked away because she's not happy and doesn't want to be a part of this part of the review. Taking on, maybe I'll put this on this shoulder, taking on that bitch Charlotte and the Empress Asuka. Now, side note, I am obviously the biggest Becky Lynch mark out there, or at least one of them. So I'm very biased going into this match. But I do have some feelings for Asuka. I do like her a lot. She was champion at the first NXT show I went to, which was TakeOver at the End in Orlando. She actually beat Nia Jax at that show. And watching her through NXT was always awesome. She was my favorite on that entire roster while she was there. So it's bittersweet. The match had a lot of big bumps, and it was easily best match of the night, so we'll get that out of the way right now. Big thumbs up. A lot of big spots. Charlotte was the first one to go through a table early in the match when Asuka kind of powerbombed her. Side note, huge shout out to Charlotte. I'm not a big Charlotte fan, but damn, that girl took some crazy bumps in that match. And not only that, I love her or hate her, you gotta respect the shit out of Charlotte. Like, the girl is super athletic, super good, and like newfound level of respect for her with some of the bumps she took. Then of course you got a lot of fighting on the outside. Charlotte gets pissed, starts clearing off the announce table, puts Asuka on it. Becky gets involved, puts Charlotte on it. Goes to the tallest ladder, which for those of you who have seen Becky interviews recently, she said her biggest regret at Evolution was not using a taller ladder. She got to do that last night. Jumped off of it. Asuka, of course, moved out of the way. Becky landed all of her weight right on Charlotte's ribs. And you could tell that did not feel good. Even had to bleep out Charlotte saying a few words there. So finish was a little strange. Granted, the booking was very good if you're thinking long term. Asuka and Charlotte are fighting at the top of the ladder. Becky brings in a second ladder. Asuka gets knocked down. Charlotte and Becky then start fighting on this other ladder. And then randomly out of nowhere, Ronda Rousey shows up. And she just goes out of the ladder and pushes it over. Knocks Charlotte and Becky both out. Asuka's the only one left. She climbs to the top and pulls down the Women's Championship. Asuka, your new SmackDown Women's Champion. I've got mixed feelings on this. Like I said, big Asuka fan too. I'm glad that she won it if Becky can't have it. So, definitely happy with that. I will say from an Asuka fan perspective, I wish she would have gotten more recognition when she won her first main roster title. My reasoning for this is, if you think about it, coming out of this match, the talk of the match was not Asuka is your new SmackDown Women's Champion. The talk of the match was Ronda Rousey screwed Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. What's going to be next for those three? Nobody's asking what Asuka's going to do next. A lot of people don't care, which sucks because Asuka's really good. please, please, please. Hold on. I don't even know if you can still see me, so I'll raise my hands high. Please, please, please. Jesus McMahon, give us Becky versus Ronda at WrestleMania in the main event. That was my review. It was a great show. It was honestly probably the best, if not one of the best, main roster shows of the year. To me, Evolution was still the best. Let me know your thoughts, your feelings, your inner dark secrets. Again, shout out to Brian. Happy birthday. Shout out to the 113 crew. Shout out to Small Town Titans, best band on earth. Go listen to them. So, see you around.